Okay, let's talk about something that I think a lot of us know all too well, that racing mind at night. You know the feeling? You are absolutely exhausted, you are so ready for sleep, but your brain? No, it has totally different plans.
Does this sound familiar to you? You've spent the entire day just waiting for the moment you can finally rest, and then it's like a switch flips. Your brain suddenly decides now is the perfect time to get to work.
Exactly. The world finally goes quiet, your body is still, and that is the exact moment your mind just kicks into overdrive, right? Replaying conversations, planning out the next 10 years, or suddenly coming up with a genius new idea. It can feel like a total curse, but what if it's not?
And really, that's the big question we're going to dig into. Is this inability to just switch off a flaw in our habits, or could it actually be a feature of how some of our brains are wired? You know, for years, the common advice has been pretty simple. If you can't sleep, it's basically your fault. You have bad sleep hygiene, you're too stressed out, you have too much anxiety. And look, while those things can definitely be factors, they are not the whole story, not even close. So let's put these two ideas side by side. In one corner, you've got the common idea that it's just a discipline problem, and in the other, there's this really fascinating psychological perspective that says, no, it's actually a sign of a highly active, deeply engaged brain.
And this gets us to the main idea here. That late-night brain buzz isn't a bug, it's a feature. It's a direct sign of something called high cognitive activity.
So, what on earth does that actually mean? Well, think of high cognitive activity as your brain in its ultimate creative mode. It's grappling with really complex ideas. It's connecting dots that seem totally unrelated. It's thinking way outside the box. This is the engine of creativity and problem-solving just revving up. I want you to let this sink in for a second, because this is so important. Your brain isn't broken. It's just busy. It's busy doing the very thing it was designed to do, to think, to process, to create. It just so happens that its favorite time to do this is when you'd much rather be sleeping.
Okay, so if it's so busy, what is it actually doing up there? Well, it's running simulations. And this is where it gets really, really cool. Your brain is basically this incredibly powerful simulator. And at night, it finally has the peace and quiet it needs to run its most complex programs.
I mean, think about it. During the day, your brain is like an air traffic controller, right? It's managing all this incoming noise, emails, conversations, notifications. But at night, the traffic finally stops, and all of that incredible processing power gets freed up for deep internal work, exploring abstract thoughts and imagining all kinds of future scenarios.
And this process is just brilliant. First, it hones in on a problem. Maybe it's a project at work or a tricky personal situation. Then, your brain starts to game it out, running through dozens of different what-if scenarios and playing out all the potential outcomes. And what's the result? Well, you often wake up with a brand new idea, a totally fresh perspective, or maybe even the solution you've been looking for all along.
Now, this is where it gets even more validating. This whole tendency, it's not just normal for some people, it's a trait that is often linked to some pretty exceptional minds.
That's right. Studies have actually shown a really strong link between this overactive midnight mind and people who are highly intelligent and creative. It seems like this relentless need to connect ideas and simulate possibilities is the very thing that fuels innovation. Your brain's refusal to just shut down, it's actually a sign of its power.
And that really brings us to the most important takeaway of all. An active mind at night isn't a sign that you're broken. It's a sign of a brain that is brilliant. So instead of fighting it, maybe try working with it. Keep a notepad by your bed. See what your mind has to tell you, and then you can give it permission to rest.
So, I'll just leave you with this question. The next time you find yourself wide awake at 2 in the morning, instead of getting frustrated, try getting curious. Ask yourself, what amazing, complex problem is my brilliant brain trying to solve for me right now?